De andar y caminar, girando siempre en un lugar. Sé que las ventanas se pueden abrir, cambiar el aire depende de ti. Ya dudaré. Vale la pena una vez más saber que se puede, querer que se pueda, quitarle los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, tentar al futuro con el corazón. Espero. Imposible se puede lograr. La tristeza un día será, y así será. Ya cambia y cambiará. Sentirás que al alma vuela por cantar una vez más, saber que se puede, querer que se pueda, quitar los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, tentar al futuro con el corazón, saber que se puede, querer que se pueda, quitarse los miedos, sacarlos afuera, pintarse la cara, color esperanza, tentar al futuro con el corazón, alejar, día, solo quedar el sol. Thank you so much, everyone. That was Gabby Da Silva, one of amazing high school students in Montgomery County, who has been working with us in my office for a while as an intern. And her talent, and if you don't understand Spanish, that song is about love and community and unity. And it fits so well with this celebration, because today is a celebration, and I want to thank you for being here today. Please give it up for Gabby. And I know you're gonna. She's going back to class, so also because we're in Wheaton, and Wheaton is an urban district that is passionate about arts and culture. If you look to my left, you're gonna see painter David Zambrano, who's gonna be producing a painting about unity and love as we proceed on this press conference, highlighting what we're doing today, a celebration with a bill signing of the Trust Act. Thank you so much, Zez. He goes by Zez Zambrano for all your work. So we look forward to seeing your end product after this whole thing. So my name is Natalie Pani Gonzalez. I'm the president of the Montgomery County Council. As you all know, once I became council president, I told my colleagues, there is one thing I'm gonna be doing as soon as I become council president, and that's finally passing the Trust Act, which is gonna put into law the practice that we have in Montgomery County, and that is why I'm here today. And I am so proud of each one of my colleagues and our chief of police, and this guy right here, the county executive, Mark Elrich. So we have a series of speakers and many nonprofits who have helped us to get to this day. I'm not gonna name them right now, later on during the program, but you can see the love that we have in this room with the diversity and the passion to protect our community and move us forward. At the end of the day, I also wanna mention right now, this is one step, but things are getting very chaotic at the federal front. And I think this is a way to show the public that Montgomery County is serious and we're gonna be protecting one another. Things are gonna get worse, and that's the prediction that we have. But if we remain together and we've remained calm and we honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King to proceed with nonviolence, to proceed with love, at the end of the day, love will always win, and we need to be mindful in loving each other as we go through these tough times. With that, the first person that I'm going to introduce is our County Executive, Mark Elrich.
So, first of all, thank you, Council President Fanny Gonzalez, and the council members for the leadership and for the unanimous vote. In a time of intense division in this country, unanimity actually matters, and it shows that here in Montgomery County, we can still come together around basic principles of fairness, safety, and dignity. And this legislation codifies what we've already been doing since 2019, when I signed an executive order to strengthen community trust and clarify the county's role. Today's bill puts those protections into law, makes them clear, makes them consistent. It also means that another county executive can't come in and erase the executive order. So this is permanent, not the length of time that an executive order is in power. You've heard what this bill does, and I want to focus on why it matters now. Across the country, we're seeing aggressive immigration enforcement actions, creating fear and instability in communities. We've already seen its impact here. It is happening already. It is intensifying, and it's going to get more intense. The only reason we don't see as much as other people have is that ICE has been understaffed for their mission of national terror. And now they're staffing up. And when they staff up, we're going to see more of this. So we shouldn't be confused. Nobody should think that Trump got soft on anything and that we haven't been touched. We've not been touched because he doesn't have the staff to touch us. They're getting ready to do that. So I agree with the council president that, we need to be prepared for more, not less. We see families disrupted. We see parents detained. We see young people, sometimes just 18 years old, suddenly becoming the sole providers for younger brothers and sisters because their parents and the sense of security have been taken from them. It affects schools, it affects workplaces, it affects public safety. We're hearing from employers who are saying people aren't coming to work. They don't want to be in vulnerable places. They're not attending food drives. My daughter does a food pantry outside of her house, and they're moving to doing more and more delivery, because people are afraid to come and pick up food because ICE knows where the food pantries are. Local government does not control federal immigration policy. I wish we did, but we do control how we serve the people who live here. This law makes clear that the county government is here to serve the residents, not to carry out federal immigration enforcement. And this is about more than policing. Our employees, whether they're work in health and human services, libraries or recreation, housing or education, are here to provide resources and serve this whole community. And you can see it from the resources we've put out there. We are helping as many of our partners as possible provide support to the communities that are being affected by this. The clarity of all this matters and helps us and helps the people we know and the people we serve to trust us. I think Natalie and I just did a public service announcement yesterday, a video that's going to go out. Again, the message in Spanish and English to reassure the community that we're still here. And Montgomery County is still Montgomery County. So we say also clearly that everyone is safer when people know they can call the police without fear of immigration consequences. This is something the police have been telling us for probably more than a decade. The police were one of the groups that actually supported our having the kind of protections we have for immigrants, because they want immigrants to feel safe about calling them when they need to, as opposed to being too afraid to call to even get protections that they should be able to get. We don't want to be involved in federal immigration enforcement, and we especially don't want to be associated with the actions that create unnecessary fear and distress. The legislation sets clear boundaries. It protects residents. It gives clarity to county employees and strengthens public safety. Montgomery County is stronger when everyone feels safe and they're participating fully in our community. And this legislation helps ensure that we're able to realize that goal, and we're going to keep working at this. So we're all in for, I think, a rough ride. We need to hang together, and we need to be as strong as we can be, and we need to reassure our community that they can count on us to be there with them. So thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're gonna have next Council Vice President Marilyn, welcome.
Thank you all, and thanks for being here. It's such a great to see all these people in the room. I want to thank County Executive Mark Alrich, Council President Natalie Fanning-Gonzalez for their leadership, not only with the executive order, but with this bill. And it says a lot that everyone signed out, the entire council signed out. It was unanimous because we've been hearing from our community. We see what's happening in the federal government, and we often feel helpless in stopping what's being perpetrated in our community. But what we can do is we can create this law to say how we are going to respond to that. The Montgomery County is going to stand firm with all of our residents, regardless of immigration status, to say that we are treating everyone in our community with respect. We provide services to everyone in our community, and we want you to know that we are with you. And more importantly, we need to spread this word. We need to let everybody in the community know that you can trust us, you can come to us, and we will deliver. So thank you. And I would like to turn this over to Andrew Friedson.
Thank you, the Vice President. Thank you especially to the Council President who committed to making this her first act and who delivered on that for our residents. Thank you to the County Executive, to all Council colleagues. I am proud to stand here as a county government and as a community to stick up for our residents at a time when they are under attack. I am proud to stand here to send a message loud and clear that in Montgomery County, we follow the law. In Montgomery County, we follow the Constitution. And in Montgomery County, we will protect all of our residents, every single one of our residents, regardless of their immigration status. Because that's what living our values out loud means. That's who we are in Montgomery County. We are a nation of immigrants. We are a county of immigrants. 1/3 of our county are foreign-born residents. And at a time when they are under attack, when the federal government is coming after them, we are here, we see you, we support you, and we will do everything within our power to protect you. That's who we are in Montgomery County. That's what we're doing. We are united. All of the county council, the county executive, our community here together, standing up for what's right, standing up for who we are and for what we believe in. When we started this administration, we worked together with the former council president, Kate Stewart, and I, and the full council with the United in Service and Support. Today, we are continuing that effort, codifying into law what united really looks like, what support really means. We are working together to make sure that at a time when we need to send a message loud and clear, at a time when we need to make sure that all of our residents know that we're here to protect them, that we will. And that's what we'll continue to do. That's who we are in Montgomery County, and I'm proud to be a resident of Montgomery County. Now it's my honor to be able to introduce my colleague, the Public Safety Chair, Sidney Katz.
Thank you very much, Andrew. And, I've been very proud of Montgomery County over the years. I've never been more proud of Montgomery County than today. By the unanimous approval of this county council and with the county executive, it sends a message to all of us. And many times, there are times that we don't always agree. And when my colleagues don't agree with me, that means usually they're wrong, is what that means. But there are times that happens. It's fairly rare. But I think we have to mention time and time again that this act affects everyone. It's whether you've lived in Montgomery County your whole life like I have, or whether you're a new resident. It affects everyone. And I'm so very lucky that I have not lived more than 3 miles from where my parents were living when I was born. And thank God my grandparents came thousands of miles from Lithuania to get me here. And they came for the very reasons that people come today, looking for a better life for themselves, looking for a better life for their children, and looking for a better life for their grandchildren. It scares me to think of what would have happened to me, who's had a very blessed life, if they hadn't made that journey. We need to make certain that all of us remained in a safe and in a blessed way. Montgomery County is a blessed area to live in, and we thank them for that. And we want to make certain that all services are given to all people, and they're high-quality services. The Trust Act will allow all of us who live in this great county to feel safe, secure, and welcome. And I have said many, many times that a community is a family. And today, our family is a lot stronger. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to introduce my friend and colleague, Councilmember Dawn Leeper.
Good morning. First, want to thank my colleague and friend, Council President Natalie Fanny Gonzalez, for her steadfast leadership on this and for making sure with attention to care and detail, along with our county executive and his team, that we took permanent action, right? Took permanent action on what is now the Trust Act. This is an unprecedented time, and I feel so fortunate to be able to stand inside here. It's cold and damp outside. It's filled with warmth and love in this room, because everyone who's in here, lawmakers, nonprofit leaders, volunteers, plays a role in making sure that we are upholding our Constitution and our values. We are under threat, period, full stop. And we have to be as committed as ever to making sure that we each say loudly and proudly, upholding the Constitution doesn't just mean choosing pieces of it that you like. It means the totality of it. It means understanding the foundations of our democracy and why it is so, so incredibly important to ensure due process for all. That's fundamental to who we are, and it's necessary now more than ever for us to recommit to that and say that loudly and proudly. I also want to give thanks to those in the room. It takes a village to handle the situations that are coming our way, right? Whether it's our Health and Human Services partners or our police department and their response to those who are in need, or whether it's being able to pick up the phone and call colleagues or call George Escobar over here from CASA, who I had to reach out to. Yes, thank you. This weekend, on behalf of a family in need who isn't even from Montgomery County, but it's pick up the phone, ask for help. We are there for you, and we will do our very, very best to make sure that our residents can stay safe, feel welcome, feel loved and supported. Thank you so very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Councilmember Lori Ann Sales.
Good morning. I am Councilmember at Large Lori Ann Sales, Chair of the Health and Human Services Committee. We are passing this bill during Black History Month, and that matters for so many reasons. Because Black history teaches us that what happens when government uses their power for good or for evil. When it's used to dehumanize, detain, and disappear people who are deemed other. My ancestors were kidnapped and forced into labor. Today in 2026, families in our community are once again being rounded up, detained, and deported without dignity and without due process. Let us call this what it is: state-sanctioned fear. In just 1 year, this administration has normalized racial profiling, empowered aggressive immigration enforcement, and shattered trust in communities that have done nothing but contribute to this country. Immigrants built this nation. They feed us, they teach our children, care for our elders, and strengthen our economy. Yet they are being targeted because of their skin color, their accents, and their zip codes. I stand here as the proud daughter of Jamaican immigrants, and I refuse to be silent while families in Montgomery County are afraid to go to work, go and worship, go to healthcare appointments, and go to school. That is why I proudly co-sponsored the Trust Act here in Montgomery County, because we will not be complicit. We will not allow our local resources, our tax dollars, to be used to tear families apart without a valid judicial warrant. We will uphold our constitutional rights, and we will defend humanity. I want to thank Council President Fani Gonzalez, as this is her first act, and she was determined. She wasted no time. And I also want to thank our courageous students. I see our superintendent is here. I see our chief of police, our county executive. I see organizations like CASA, Identity, the Gilchrist Center, McGeo. We are not playing around here in Montgomery County. We cannot control what happens in Washington, but we can control what happens in Montgomery County. And today we stand united. Today we choose to fight for our neighbors. And today we choose courage over fear. We choose justice over cruelty, and we will not back down. Thank you. Now I want to introduce my colleague, Council Member Kristen Mink.
Good morning. I'm Kristen Mink. I'm proud and honored to represent District 5, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you here today celebrating this accomplishment and this statement that we are making here in Montgomery County. I want to describe a couple of examples that have unfolded in our community just recently. We have an employee of a much loved restaurant who was snatched on his way into work after being here for years. He has a serious medical condition. His colleagues managed to deliver his medications to him at a nearby holding facility. When his family was able to get in touch with him, finally, a few days later, he had not received the medication and was in excruciating pain, potentially having permanent irreparable damage done to his body. Our federal partners have reached out and are working on it, have been told he's receiving the medication or will be soon, but how do we know? We have another community member who is in the midst of an ongoing asylum case, who has a court date next month, who has multiple children, including a breastfeeding baby, whose husband, the father of these children, was already taken violently, caught on video. No criminal charges, of course. And she has just been told suddenly to report for a check-in to an office where we have lost now numerous mothers detained when they came in for their appointments. A transparent and obvious attempt to circumvent the law and prevent her from making it to her court date. We have families who are choosing to self-deport to avoid being torn apart or to reunite with their family member who has already been taken. I have attended goodbye parties of students with their friends who they have grown up with and who now have to understand why this family is leaving. What this federal administration is doing is wrong. In many cases, it is illegal, it is unconstitutional, it is indefensible, it is disgusting. And if we are not doing every single thing we can possibly come up with to make it stop, to slow them down, to get in their way, to stand with each other, with our residents, to protect our community, what are we even doing? What is even the point of being an elected official at this point? So I am very glad and proud to be here in Montgomery County with my colleagues. Thank you to the council president. Thank you to everyone for standing united in this moment. There is much more to do, as we have heard following the passage of 287G in Annapolis from other sheriffs and other counties. 287G does not stop them from choosing to collaborate if they wish to. The Trust Act is what does. So in Montgomery County, that collaboration is not allowed. And that's what we need to see happen statewide as well. So proud to be here in Montgomery County where we continue to set the example. Thank you. And now I'm proud to introduce my colleague, Councilmember Evan Glass.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Councilmember Evan Glass. We are here today because we have too many of our neighbors living in fear. They are scared to go to work. They are scared to go to school. But we are restoring trust. We are restoring partnership, and we are making it known that we care and love every resident of Montgomery County. That's what this law is intended to do. We live in the most diverse community in the country. 4 of the 10 most diverse communities, Gaithersburg, Rockville, Silver Spring, and Germantown. All far important. And we have to ensure that every resident feels welcome, safe, and seen, regardless of their immigration status, regardless of where they pray, who they love, and the color of their skin. And Montgomery County is stepping up. We are right on Georgia Avenue, and we refuse to let Pennsylvania Avenue dictate who we are and how we treat our neighbors, because we are going to continue wrapping our arms around everybody, loving everybody, and making sure that Montgomery County government is here to support everybody. We are rebuilding trust. We are remaining a beacon of love and light for everyone across the country and everyone around the world. That's who we are. And now I'd like to turn it over to Councilmember Kate Stewart.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Councilmember Kate Stewart. I represent District 4, and I'm very proud to be here today. I want to thank Council President Natalie Fani-Gonzalez, our county executive, and all the members of the community who are here today, who have been mentioned. I am sure will be mentioned again. Today is so important because all of what has been said is happening here in our community about families being torn apart, people afraid to leave their homes, people going about their daily lives being picked up. And we are coming together here in Montgomery County, and we've been doing that through our schools, through our nonprofits, everyone joining together to build a safety net, to close in and support those who are impacted. But today is historic, as has been said, because we are codifying and we are standing together to tell our community and to tell our immigrant community that here in Montgomery County, in your home, because this is your home, you will be treated with dignity and respect by your county government, that we are here with you to stand with you during these times, and that we are codifying that today. And so I want to thank everyone who's joined us today, who's worked on these issues, and who will continue to be there in our community. And thank you again to Councilmember Fani-Gonzalez. And it is my honor now to introduce our newest member of our County Council, Councilmember Shebra Evans.
Good morning. Good morning. It's such a pleasure to be here. And so new as in 2 months, over 2 months.
Welcome.
Right. And so I am enjoying myself. And today of all days, I am so proud to stand alongside my colleagues. You know, I wanted to acknowledge Gabby. She was awesome. Can we give her another round of applause? Yeah. And I'm mentioning Gabby because our students are so important. They are watching us. And so with me just coming on to the council, keep in mind the council signed this legislation on, I believe, December the 2nd. They did it prior to December the 9th, prior to me coming on. So my name was not on the legislation, but I did ask to be added. So I'm mentioning that because I had a student reach out to me and email me. Let me get a little emotional. Because he did not see my name on the legislation. He thought that I didn't care. So I thought it was really important for me to come out today to let everyone know that I stand with our immigrant community, that they are really important to our economy, to our schools, to our faith communities, and to just civic life in general. It is important that our community know that they can trust us. When they can trust us, when they cannot live in fear, our communities can thrive. So I just wanted to keep it short and simple. And I hope the student, I don't want to name his name. I don't know. I don't want to say the person's name. I don't want to say their school, but I hope he's watching because they are always watching us. And I want him to know that I am doing the right thing. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we're gonna have the Executive Director, George Escobar from We Are CASA.
Thank you. Sí se puede, sí se puede, sí se puede. Oui, nous pouvons. Oui, nous pouvons. Oui, nous pouvons. Oui, nous pouvons. Thank you. That's right, English. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we did.
Good morning, everyone. If you hadn't noticed, I work at CASA. I am proud to stand here before you. I'm the executive director of We Are CASA, and I'm really filled with pride today. I know we are passing through a very difficult moment, but it's important to recognize our leaders. It's important to recognize the important step we have taken, and it's important to recognize the leadership that this entire body has made in making this legislation a reality. It's a great and historic day, as we have heard. And it makes it all much more historic because of all the fear and the cloud that overhangs us. And I'm not talking about the weather, but we are living under a federal administration who's made it its #1 policy priority, the mass targeting, the mass incarceration, the mass detention, the mass deportation, and the mass separation of Black and brown families in the United States. That is their #1 policy. We're witnessing cruelty as a policy priority. Today, our community, as we heard, is in constant fear. People are being faced with choices we could have never imagined before. Parents are making decisions, are making emergency plans we could have never thought were possible before. Children are going to school fearing that their parents will not be there when they return. Federal enforcement operations feel much more like state-sanctioned abductions. Entire communities, CASA members included, are carrying the weight of this disproportionate targeting. It's something we just cannot allow. Most of us would move heaven and earth to provide for our families, to provide a better future for them, whether they were born here or whether they decided and chose and elected to make Montgomery County their home. Yet we're living in a moment where hardworking families are being targeted simply because of who they are, because of what they look like, because of what jobs they have, because of what languages they speak, and what the color of their skin may be. But here in Montgomery County, we reject that. And this was clear today. And that is why today matters and why we have to celebrate today. And let me go back to the name of what we're celebrating. It's the Promoting Community Trust Act here in Montgomery County, because clear in the name, it is a rejection of that cruel and vile policy priority at the federal level. When immigrant communities can trust their government, we all benefit. Trust strengthens public safety. Trust strengthens families, and importantly, trust strengthens Montgomery County. Here in Montgomery County, we know how to stand up to bullies, don't we? We're all up here. We look out for one another. We believe the government should protect the people, not weaponize fear against them. So importantly, today we celebrate leadership, as I said. Important to celebrate courage. We celebrate doing the right thing when the right thing is not easy. And we recognize the strength, courage, and dignity of our immigrant community that is here celebrating with us as well. CASA is deeply grateful to the leadership of County Executive Mark Elrich, to the amazing leadership of Council President Natifani Gonzalez, and not only them, but every single council member here who stood up a couple of months ago, all co-sponsoring this bill, which we are deeply grateful for. And for that, I thank you all, and si se puede! And now it's my pleasure to welcome Rabbi Mark, a great partner of our immigrant community.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm Rabbi Mark Israel, the rabbi at Tikvat Israel congregation in Rockville, and also a board member of the Jewish Community Relations Council. And it's truly an honor to stand here today with our county executive, Mark Elrich, with County Council President Natalie Fanny Gonzalez, almost the entire County Council, Police Chief Yamato, George, and so many other wonderful allies as the Trust Act is enacted. On December 4th, I was honored to speak when this bill was introduced. So much has changed in these 11 weeks. On December 4th, we didn't know the names Renee Good or Alex Pretty, two 37-year-old U.S. citizens murdered for standing up on behalf of immigrants in their community. On December 4th, I had no idea that I would fly a few weeks later to Minneapolis in 20 below weather to bear witness to the federal troops terrorizing their streets. We cannot allow that to happen here. I will never forget the fear that I saw in the eyes of the people in Minneapolis, but I will also never forget the strength and the solidarity of standing together with 600 priests and imams, rabbis, monks, pastors from around the country who came on just a few days' notice to demand ICE out. And we are now witnessing the power when we, the people, stand together. For now, Congress blocked new funding for ICE. For now, federal troops seem to be leaving Minneapolis. But we know that this is a retrenchment, not a surrender. And that's why we must stand together as men and women, citizens and immigrants, faith leaders, civic leaders, police officers, elected officials to protect the diverse residents of Montgomery County. The Jewish Community Relations Council, local rabbis, and members of our community celebrate today's victory and declare our resolve to stay in this fight. As the JCRC's Legislative Director Deb Miller testified before the council, we know all too well what it feels like to be vulnerable, to be othered, and to be attacked for who we are. 36 times the Torah demands that we protect the non-citizen in our midst. This is an ongoing battle. The part of the Torah that we will read from this week describes the offerings people brought to build the tabernacle that the Israelites carried with them throughout the desert. It describes the linens of blue and red and purple, offerings of silver, gold, and copper. And the Torah says that each person gave of their own heart, the diversity of the offerings representing the diversity of the nation. Each was necessary to make the tabernacle whole. And it tells us that the purpose of completing the tabernacle was not to create a place where God would be, but to create the conditions where God could dwell among us. The Trust Act is our tabernacle. Its enactment today was made possible because Montgomery County stands together in the beauty of our diversity, upholding the value of each of its residents, that each of its residents contribute. And we pray that as we work to protect the strangers in our midst, to celebrate our diversity, may we too create a place where where God can dwell among us.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Next, we have Executive Director Anthony Featherstone from WorkSource Montgomery.
All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Anthony Featherstone, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Executive Director for WorkSource Montgomery. I want to start by thanking all of our elected officials and county leaders for pushing forward this legislation. You know, I'm really proud to be in Montgomery County. I don't think I could be prouder, and I'm really humbled and honored to be standing among many of our partners. And so to our community partners, thank you for the work that you do each and every day for all of our residents. Our mission is really simple at WorkSource Montgomery. You know, we want to, make sure that we connect our people to opportunity, all our people to opportunity, and our businesses to the talent that they need. And our ability to execute that mission is critical to so many families, so many residents, businesses, and our local economy. This is why we truly appreciate the Trust Act and the timeliness of its passing, as it helps ensure something that's so critical to the success of any workforce system and local economy, and that's trust between our residents, local services, and providers. We know that when residents feel safe and engaging with public institutions, that they are more likely to engage in services that lead to stability, education attainment, and economic mobility. And as we all know, that benefits not only the families and individuals, but also our businesses, neighborhoods, and our county as a whole. Montgomery County's strength comes from our diversity, and our diversity is our people. The Trust Acts help ensure that residents, regardless of their background, can focus on economic mobility without fear or hesitation. You know, we're proud that the Trust Act was passed, and we stand ready to continue working with, all our residents, all our, county government partners, all of our community partners. I want to thank all of our leaders again for pushing this forward. And then lastly, I'll just say that, our American Job Centers will continue to be open. Our services will continue to be available for all our residents and all our businesses who need our support. And so thank you all for this opportunity, and thank you all for pushing this legislation forward. Thank you for listening.
Next, we have the Superintendent, Dr. Thomas Taylor from MCPS. Line around there. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everybody. It's a privilege to be here to represent our school system and our Board of Education. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Mr. County Executive. Children represent 20% of Montgomery County's population, but 100% of our future. Right now, our children are frightened. They're frightened for themselves. They're frightened for their friends. They're frightened for their parents. They're frightened for the school staff that serves them. And they're also watching, as Councilmember Evans pointed out. Our children are very attentive to what they're seeing and how the adults around them are reacting to this crisis. And I think our children are going to be proud of the actions that our county government is taking to make sure that they are protected. As somebody who grew up and was raised in Montgomery County, I know the county motto all too well. Guard well. Standing behind me are parents, teachers, nonprofits, faith leaders, but really just a group of neighbors and friends. And we intend to guard well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, we have a member of the Montgomery County Education Association, Orchid Dargahi. Where is she? There, come here. Hey, you're swimming here. There you go. There.
Good morning, everybody. Vibrant, diverse, culturally blooming. These are some words that come to mind when I think of Montgomery County. When I think of growing up in Germantown, when I think of my days as a kid at Krista McCullough Elementary School, a tween at Roberto Clemente Middle School, and a teenager at Seneca Valley High School, trying to figure out my way in life. These are words I think of when I remember times with my friends, laughing in the hallways, waiting up for phone calls, going to the homecoming dance and birthday parties. At the heart of these memories were the people. My friend's mom, a beautiful woman from Liberia whose smile felt like a warm embrace. Another friend's mom, a quick-witted woman from Korea who fed me hot meals whenever I came over. the parents of my best friend growing up, a disciplined and clever man from Iran, and a gentle, kind woman from Chile, who welcomed me into their home hundreds of times and many of their family events that I invited myself to. And then there's my family, my mother, one of the most hardworking and generous people I know, my father, an artist, a mathematician, and a chef, all from an Iranian family with a rich history and culture that I proudly carry with me every single day. My core memories, my childhood, my upbringing, my personal history is richer, more beautiful because of immigrants. My name is Orchid Dargahi. I am an English language development and English language arts teacher at Newport Mill Middle School, just a couple miles down the road, and a member of the Montgomery County Education Association. I am a proud daughter of immigrants who didn't come here from Iran, start from scratch, cry from desperation as what is happening in that country with the systematic violence and oppression of the Iranian people, just for me to sit down and be quiet when I witness injustice against the people of my community. Thank you. I am here today in full support of the Trust Act, and I am proud to have been raised and live in a community that honors immigrants. When we honor immigrants, we honor humanity. When we provide county benefits and services to residents, regardless of how they may check a box on a piece of paper, we honor humanity. We take care of educators with DACA and temporary protected status. We give children the space to learn in our classrooms, ride their bikes or walk to a friend's house in their neighborhoods without fear. We keep families together. We rebuild the very trust that this act promotes and stands for. Let's celebrate that we have taken an actionable step towards codifying protections of immigrants by turning it into law. This is how we differentiate our community from the lawlessness of this administration and ICE. But the work is not over. We rest for a moment, we rejoice, and then we recommit to our promise. Today was just the first step needed to protect our communities. That's why I call on all county council members here to unanimously co-sponsor and pass the county values and unmask ICE acts as well. The unity that backed the Trust Act and continues to back the Trust Act, not a past tense thing, and made this possible is what we need for continued efforts to fight back against ICE and fight back against this administration. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Before we open it up to Q&A, in case anybody has a question, I just want to announce who's here. Also to state that today is the first Friday of Ramadan, and we have many members of the Muslim community who wanted to be there, but they're not here not because they don't want to, but out of respect. I just wanted to say that. We have here NCEA, MOCO IRC, JCRC, CASA, MOCO Coalition for the Homeless, Montgomery County Coalition for Adult English Literacy, Creative Wheaton, Nonprofit Montgomery, MOCO Pride Center, MOCO Pride Family, Unite Here, Just Unites for Justice, Every Mind, Community Bridges, the Asian Pacific American Legal Resource Center, 32BJ, SEIU, MAGIO, and I'm sure I left UFCW too, and many others. And Identity is here. There. Thank you for being here, sir. Good looking now. No. And Q&A, does anybody have a question before we move to the bill signing? For media only, please. It's not a town hall. No one. Okay. So as we move forward to the table to sign the bill, I think our artist is probably almost done, and we have a poem by Rabbi Matthew Katz. He's a member of Creative Wheaton. So as we transition to the table, Matthew will come here. What happened? CPR.
She's fainted. Is she okay, Natalie? Yeah, of course. You okay? Overwhelmed. I love it. Right, you need to be on the ground. Always excitement. Endless supply of excitement. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew Ratz, the Executive Director of Passion for Learning, Vice President of the Board of Creative Wheaton. Very, very proud and blessed to be sharing some poetry with everyone this morning. This is a poem I prepared for this occasion called Together We Are Montgomery County. There is no time like an ice storm to get to know your neighbors, and me haphazardly scraping snow from behind my car with a piece of plywood. Many of you were likely in my shoes a fortnight ago too, caught buried knee-deep in snow and without a shovel. After watching me struggle for a moment, a neighbor offered me his spare and very likely saved my life, or at least my back. Later that day, another neighbor hacked to free his own ice-encased vehicle while dressed in shorts and flip-flops. I commented how I had never seen the like. The body can get used to anything, he affirmed, as he diligently chipped away at the glacial sheet that blocked his path. But there are some things nobody should normalize. Things better left in the shadows. Here in our own neighborhoods, families are afraid to send their loved ones off to work, to school, to the community center, fearing they may never come home. Right near here on University Boulevard, people can't feel safe to shop at the Dollar Tree. The specter of fear has wrapped its talons around our friends and neighbors, and like the snowcrete that jammed our byways until just last week, these forces, this strangling fear, stop our collective forward momentum. When I grew up in a small suburb, I could meander the streets of my hometown at all hours. That is not the reality for my own children who are growing up calling Montgomery County home. Instead, we traverse by car Veers Mill Road, I-270, Rockville Pike, Georgia Avenue, and Sam Ike Highway,
roads that crisscross like arteries across our region. On our commute, we pass the taco trucks, the botanicas, the local diners, Wheaton Mall, the movie theater, the local pharmacy, the courthouse, the familiar waypoints that make up our local economy. We go to school, to church, to mosque, to synagogue. We bind journals at the Germantown Library. We don't think about the many faceless locals who keep these storefronts illumined, whose efforts patch the potholes, whose menus keep us fed when there's only time to DoorDash dinner between extracurricular activities on school nights. Montgomery County is home to nearly 1.2 million residents, and a quick search of our local cuisine brings you pupusa from El Salvador, banh mi from Vietnam, injera from Ethiopia, baklava from Lebanon, and pizza that's almost like New York. Our county is a kaleidoscope of local flavors. Visiting the Long Branch Community Center each week, I see posters in English, Spanish, Mandarin, and Amharic, all to ensure our neighbors, no matter where they might be from, can partake of free local opportunities. Those are the sights, sounds, and smells of my community, not so much a melting pot where flavors boil down to gruel, but a kinetic mosaic where each unique tile adds vibrancy, character, and life. Some months ago, I stood in Friar Plaza and danced with strangers to some hot Latin jazz. And now I hear from local families, can you do that workshop virtually? Because they are too fearful to be caught outside their homes. I, for one, wouldn't want to call a place home that did not make room for our many neighbors. Wherever one's ancestors may be from, they have the right to be treated with kindness and with love. Ice storms are a great time to get to know your neighbors. But there's also Friday mornings in February at auditoriums in Wheaton, where the leaders of our county have decided not only to stand up, but also to stand out and say, immigrants build our communities. We boldly stand beside our neighbors in their times of need. The many faces here today, the myriad voices and accents, the flavors of our local eateries, we are the tapestry that makes Montgomery County a great place to live, to work, and to raise a family. I am grateful my kids get to grow up here, appreciative of the many voices that weave the lilting music of our daily lives. Together there is nothing we cannot overcome, even ice storms and shadowy forces that strive to shatter our spirits. I learned long ago that hate is not the opposite of love. The opposite of love is indifference. Now is not a time of indifference. History demands for us to take a stand because silence and obedience benefit only our oppressors. Standing together with our neighbors today, we send a message to those fueled by hate. There is no greater force than the force of love. Love transforms houses into homes, and love-filled homes transmute mere structures into communities. Communities are what keep us safe when lights are dim and murky breezes force their way in under drafty doors and unsealed windows. Love and community are the flame that beat back the icy gales. Together we protect the peace that makes our county not only safe, but truly a place anyone can call home, whatever language they may speak, from however far they may have come. Today we say to our neighbors, we see you, we love you, you are safe here. Welcome home.
And now, the moment we'll be waiting for.
Give it to you.
Okay.
And then you can hand it out.
Can everybody move up, please? We've got to move some tables.
Do you need help on this side moving it? No.
Good to see you. Yeah, that's you.
I really appreciated what you said.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Ancestor who actually represented Montgomery County in the Maryland Constitutional Convention.
Who
Jacob Funk, which Funkstown is named after, up in Washington County. And so it's possible. Yes. It
Good day. Yeah, well, my great-grandparents came here over 100 years ago.
Some doubts.
Yeah. George. George. There you go. I'm sure he brought other signatures with him. He can get you more.
That's when everybody smiles.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. 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 Y se puede. 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 Be Google vote. Be Google vote. Be Google vote. Be Google vote.
Thank you.
Everything. We learn new things about things that are important to the earth. My name is Nova.